Chesapeake Bay entrance, 3 cross bearing problems. Now we're at the point where we're going to start working the 3-point bearings, and on the first problem, looks like this. And it says you're on a course of 135 degrees per standard magnetic compass when you take the following bearings per standard magnetic compass. Now remember, everything that we take, these bearings that we take, where it says Chesapeake Light 266, Cape Charles Light 353, and Chesapeake Light 124, those are taken per standard magnetic compass. So we're going to have to convert this and take it over to the chart and draw the bearings on the chart to find out what our latitude and longitude is. So what we're going to do is we have to take each one of those bearings, which is a PSC, and convert it to true. Now there's a problem that a lot of people come in contact with in this particular one when they start working the deviation or start working the tables. And that problem is it says your course of 135. So when we work the TVMDC of Cape Henry, Cape Charles, and Chesapeake Light, we have to use the deviation of our heading. So every time you work one of these 3 cross bearings, do your TVMDC, find your deviation for your heading, and that works it up to true. Don't go into the deviation table. Don't take 266, because that's a bearing. That's not your heading. Bearing is what you've taken out. You've taken a bearing and looked across and you sighted this in. But in order to take it to your course, you have to correct the deviation for your heading. So on each one of these, we're going to go ahead and write our formula. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and write the TVMDC. And it's a good habit to get into, is you go ahead and write your formula out. And in this case, we're writing it out 3 times. And they work out the same. Now, I'm going to go ahead and label this CH for Cape Henry. This one is CC for Chesapeake, Cape Charles, and Chesapeake Light. Looking at your problem, and I'm going to go ahead and write it down. It's basically, go ahead and get it all down on paper. 266 for Cape Henry, 353 for Cape Charles, and 124 for Chesapeake Light. Our deviation is not on these. Our deviation is on our heading of 135. So we're going to go in the deviation table, Chesapeake entrance, and our course is 135. 135 falls in between 120 and 150, and here's one of those interpolations. 120 is 1 east, and 150 is 1 west. So 135 falls right in the center. So if you did a number line, 0 is in between. So our deviation for our heading is actually none, 0. So what we're going to do is go ahead and correct this. Deviation is going to be 0 for each one of these. Now I'm going to go up, so again, I don't have to worry about, so this is 266 magnetic, 353, and 124. Our variation, Chesapeake Bay, remember, is 9 west. And see, it works across. So I'm going to go ahead, and work each one of these. And what we're going to do is, we're going to go ahead and take our 9 west. Remember, we're going up, so what do we do with west? We subtract. So 266 minus 9 is 257. That's going to be true. 353 minus 9 is going to be 344. And 124 minus 9 is going to be 115. Now I can take these to the charts now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to work them out on the chart. That I'm going to find, this is a real rough, our bearings, and what you'll do is you'll take each of, this is Cape Henry and the light, you draw a line. Cape Charles, you draw a line. And in Chesapeake Light, you draw a line. And what you're looking for is an intersection. Wherever they intersect, you want to go ahead and say, that's your position, that's your latitude and longitude. So let's go ahead and work it out on the chart. Okay. Now I have my chart, and I'm found Cape Henry, Cape Charles, and Chesapeake Light. And Cape Henry, if you're not familiar with the chart yet, Cape Henry is down on the bottom, and it's the light. Remember, a light, when it says a light, it's a lighthouse. It's the dot, and it looks like an asterisk or a purple or magenta mark on top of it. This is Cape Henry. Now, Cape Charles gets a lot of people confused because Cape Charles, they're talking about Cape Charles Lighthouse. That's Cape Charles Lighthouse. This is the city of Cape Charles. So when they ask you the city, if they ask you something about the city, it's going to be in this position. If they want the light, it's going to be over here. So now we have a Cape Charles, Cape Henry, and our Chesapeake Light. We've done all the math. We've come out with the deviation of our heading, and now we're going to start plotting them. Now this is one that you have to be real fancy with the parallel rulers. And what I mean by that is when I take the first one, 257, remember reading the outside lines, I have to walk this parallel ruler all the way to Cape Henry. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open it up, and you can move it 50 to 60 times, it doesn't matter. I'm trying to get it to the dot of the lighthouse. And I've already gone and done it. You see, I can go on and draw the line. And when I draw the line, I like to go out and just write CH. Just kind of letting me know that's Cape Henry. Cape Charles is 344. I'm going to line it up on 344. And again, being fancy, what I'm going to do is open up my parallel ruler, walk them. Now, if I keep on walking, what's going to happen is my parallel ruler is going to be way up here and my line's down here. Walk it a couple of times to get it where you want it. And then I draw my line. Now, I already have one line drawn there. I can actually shorten my line and just draw it here. Chesapeake Light is 115. Line it up, bring it over, and I draw my line. Now, I'm going to zoom in and let you see what I have. If you notice, all three of them cross. And where all three of them cross, I end up with a triangle. And you will end up with triangles, but you have to remember is when you do your triangles, when you take three bearings, you want to, if you end up with a small triangle, that's good. But if you end up with a triangle like this, that's not accurate and one of your measurements is off. You will end up on these Chesapeake Lights, Cape Charles and Cape Henry with certain triangles. And what you want to do is you want to find the center, and it's just a guesstimation, the center of the triangle. Remember, these are running fixes, so you're kind of moving along, and you always want to make sure, go back in and make sure everything's right. But if you end up with a triangle, you're still good. Now, I've gone ahead and I've ended up with a triangle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and mark the center of the triangle. That's my position. Now, I'm going to take and find the latitude and longitude of that position, and I want to write it down. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom back out. And I want to find the latitude and longitude of my position. And we've done this now. You should be able to do it. I take my parallel ruler and I line it right up on the latitude line, that's on the longitude line that's running north and south. And I'm going to open up the parallel ruler until it hits the mark that I'm on. And there's my dot. And I'm going to make a mark. And I'm going to go ahead and write down the longitude. It's 75, 50, and it's 0.8. Now, my latitude is I'm going to have to go ahead and take my dividers, and I'll put 1 point on the nearest latitude line and work my pencil until it hits the little point there. And I'm going to walk it over and put the point and make a mark. So my latitude is 36, 55, 56, 57.3. 36, 57.3. All right, let's go ahead and look in the book. I'm going to zoom in. And look in the book. Now, what I'm going to do is, I always try to write my latitude and longitude down, and I look and see which one is the closest. I have a 36, 57.3. There's a 36, 57.3. There's a 36, 57.5, 37, 56.6, 37, 57.9. Well, I have an exact one right here, so I'm going to favor this one. Well, let's look at the longitude. 75, 50.8. Well, here's a 75, 50.9. 75, 50.1. 75, 51.6. And 75, 50.8. Well, I'm looking at it. If I have exactly here, and I have 75, 50.9, and my answer I have is 75, 50.8, that's only 1 second off. That's 1 second. That's pretty doggone good. I would say that's going to be the answer, but let's look at it. Let's go ahead and look at this one down here. It's B. B is 36, 57.5. I have 36, 57.3 in my, when I found it on the chart. Well, if I have 36, 57.3 and this is 5, I'm 2 seconds off of the latitude. And they have 75, 50.1, and I found 75, 50.8. Well, they're 7 seconds off of the longitude. So together, 7 plus 2, this answer is 9 seconds off of what I found. Let's look at the next one. C. 36, 57.6. I have 36, 57.3. 3 seconds off. They have 75, 51.6. I have 75, 50.8. Well, look at that. That's a whole minute and 2 seconds. So if I add a minute and 2 seconds plus 3 seconds, this answer is a minute and 5 seconds off. D, 35, 57.9, and I had 36, 57.3. This is a whole degree. 1 degree, 0 minutes, and 6 seconds off. So this is entirely wrong. I can mark this one out without even looking at it. So we go back up. If you look at it, I'm a minute off here, 9 seconds off here, 1 second here. A is going to be my answer. Now, you're not going to get exactly. If you are, congratulations, hallelujah. But you're not going to get exactly all the time. So make sure you go back and kind of look at it and say, well, I'm right here, I'm even here, and I'm only 1 second here. You may have to do a process of elimination. On the ones from Cape Charles and Chesapeake Light, you're going to come up making triangles. The other ones you can kind of come out, they come exactly right. Just remember the sharpness of the lead. Look at this. This is 9 seconds here. One little small jerk with the parallel rulers, or one little closure of the dividers, you've got to be accurate. You got to make sure your pencils are sharp and you're making sure that you're accurate. This is we're working the 3 cross bearings.